Simon Hart had told 3 lies before the porridge cooled, which was not so unusual as it ought to have been. He was not a boy who lied bravely. He did not stand on tables and swear that dragons had carried away the washing, nor did he look a magistrate in the eye and deny stealing a goose. Simon's lies were smaller and slipperier. They came out because the truth was slow, and because grown people were always wanting reasons when a child had already spent all his patience. If a cup broke in his hand, it had been cracked before. If he was late to bed, the clock had run fast. If he had eaten the sugared crust meant for Elsie, the cat had looked hungry and noble, though the Harts had never owned a cat. His little sister Elsie knew this, and watched him with solemn eyes over her mug of watered milk. She was 6, thin as a candle, and had a way of believing Simon until she remembered she must not. When he said there were giants beneath the cabbage bed, she fetched a poker. When he said he had not taken her red ribbon, she looked at his pocket until the ribbon hung itself out like a tongue. Mother Vey knew it too. Mother Vey was their guardian, though no one in the village remembered asking her to be. After Simon's parents went under the winter fever and did not come up again, she arrived at the cottage with a black shawl, a box of household keys, and a manner that made questions seem untidy. She fed the children, she scrubbed the floor, she kept accounts in a narrow book. She knew which herbs eased coughing and which church bell had cracked in the frost of 09. She did not strike them, which was something. She did not kiss them, which was also something, but not the same something. She wore black even when there was nothing particular to mourn. Her eyes were black too, and round and shiny, like buttons on a doll that has heard all your secrets. The cottage stood at the edge of the old forest, where the trees leaned so near the garden wall that they might have been listening. Smoke went up from the chimney in a thin blue thread. The village lay below, with its little schoolhouse, its baker's oven, its bell tower, and its geese who had strong opinions and expressed them without shame. Beyond the village were fields, and beyond the fields more forest, darker and older, where no sensible person went after sunset unless he had lost a cow, a child, or his wits. On that morning the hearth was red, the porridge was grey, and Simon's stomach had already decided the day was unfair. "Where is the jam?" he said. "In the pantry," said Mother Vey. "There is salt, flour, dried apples, and half a heel of cheese. There is no jam." "There is always plum jam on Thursdays," said Simon. "It is Wednesday," said Mother Vey. "Then it is the sort of Wednesday that has jam." Elsie smiled into her napkin, which was wrong of her, because smiling made her cough. Simon liked making her smile. He liked it better than being good, because goodness took so long and no one clapped when it was done. Mother Vey lifted the jam pot from the shelf above the dresser and turned it upside down. It was empty. A purple thread clung to the rim and shivered. "You scraped it clean on Monday," she said. "You scraped it with a crust, and then with your finger, and then with Elsie's spoon." Simon looked at the window, where frost had flowered along the glass. "That was not me," he said. "And there is jam. There must be. I saw it." It was his first lie of the morning. The cottage gave a small sound. It was not a creak, for houses creak from age and weather. It was not a sigh, for sighs belong to persons, and no one in the room had yet remembered how. It was the sound a drawer might make if it had been shut for years and suddenly opened from inside. On the table, between the salt cellar and the loaf, stood a blue pot of plum jam. It had not been there. It was there now. The silver spoon stood in it upright, though the Harts owned no silver spoon. The jam was thick and glossy, dark as a bruise, and smelled of late summer orchards. Elsie stared. Simon stared. Mother Vey did not stare at all. That was the worst of it. Simon, who had never been wise in the first inch of anything, reached for the spoon. Mother Vey's hand closed round his wrist. Her fingers were cold, though she had been sitting by the fire. "Did you bring that in?" she asked. "No," said Simon, and this time it was true. Truth sometimes sounded more frightened than lies. Mother Vey let go of him. She looked at the jam as a trapper looks at a print in soft mud. Then she looked at Simon, and her black button eyes grew smaller without moving at all. "Eat your porridge," she said. No one touched the jam. This was sensible, but it made Simon angry. A pot of jam that cannot be eaten is a crueler thing than no jam at all. Outside, the school bell began to ring. It rang every morning at 8, calling children from cottages, lanes, stables, and haylofts, where they had been pretending not to hear their mothers. Simon hated the school bell with a private and careful hatred. It rang for sums. It rang for copying. It rang for Master Pell, who smelled of chalk and onions and could hear whispering through a shut door. Simon took a grudging spoonful of porridge. "I cannot go to lessons today," he said. "You can," said Mother Vey. "I have a pain," said Simon. "Where?" "In my thinking. That is the part most in need of exercise." Elsie covered another smile with her napkin. Simon scowled at her, then at Mother Vey, then at the window where the bell's sound came walking up the hill like a thin old man. "Lessons have vanished," said Simon. "There are no lessons today. Master Pell's roof blew away in the night, and all the slates cracked, and every pen turned into a dead beetle. That was not one lie, as you may say. It was a little procession of lies, each holding the tail of the one before it. But it began as one lie in Simon's mouth, and so the morning counted it as the second. The bell stopped. It did not finish its ringing. It did not fade. It stopped between one note and the next, so sharply that the silence pricked the ears. Far below in the village, a dog began barking, then another. Then came a cry, thin with distance. A shutter banged. A goose shouted something rude and was not contradicted. From the schoolhouse chimney there rose no smoke, though the morning was cold enough to make breath visible. Mother Vey stood up. The chair scraped the floor. "Sit still," she said. Simon sat still. He wished, briefly and sincerely, that he had not spoken. Then, because he was Simon, he also wished he could see Master Pell's face. Elsie had not laughed this time. Her cheeks had gone pale, except for 2 bright spots high under her eyes. She put one hand to her chest and breathed carefully, as if breathing were a needle, and she had to thread herself through it. "Elsie," said Simon. "I am all right," said Elsie. She was good at saying this. She said it when the cough bent her double. She said it when she was too tired to climb the loft ladder, and Simon had to carry her on his back, pretending she was a sack of turnips, so she would not know he was afraid. She said it when Mother Vey brewed bitter leaves and counted the red stains on the cloth. Children, like soldiers and kings, are often praised for being brave when they have no safe place to put their fear. Mother Vey crossed to the window and looked toward the village. Simon watched her back. He wanted her to say something sharp, because sharp things at least had edges. Instead, she said nothing. Elsie coughed. It was a small cough at first, a polite cough, as if she wished not to trouble anyone. Then it grew. It climbed out of her like a thing with claws. She bent over her napkin. When she lifted it away, there were 3 red spots on the linen, bright and terrible as holly berries. Simon forgot the jam. He forgot that Mother Vey was in the room, and that he had already made the morning go wrong in 2 places. "No," he said. Elsie looked ashamed, as if she had broken a dish. "I am sorry," she whispered. "You are not," said Simon fiercely. "You are not sorry, because there is nothing to be sorry for. You are not ill. You are quite well. You will be well before breakfast is done." It was the 3rd lie. The hearth gave a crack like a bone snapping in a stew pot. The red spots on the napkin browned at the edges and faded, as if the cloth had swallowed them. Elsie drew in a breath, then another, her face filled with colour. The sharp hollows under her cheekbones softened. She sat up straight. "Oh," she said. Mother Vey turned from the window. Elsie blinked. She pressed a hand to her ribs. She smiled, not the little careful smile that kept from waking the cough, but a wide one, foolish and lovely. "I am hungry," she said. "May I have another slice of bread?" For half a minute, Simon was happy. It was a dangerous kind of happiness, like stepping on ice that has just made no sound. His chest filled with sun. He laughed, because Elsie was pink-cheeked and asking for bread, and because no bell was ringing, and because a blue pot of jam stood within arm's reach. The world had turned kind in the exact places where he had pressed it. Then he saw Mother Vey. She stood very still. Her face had not changed much, for it had never been wasteful with movement, but the skin around her mouth had drawn tight. Her eyes were fixed on Elsie with a look that was not relief and not surprise. It was recognition. That is often worse than surprise. "Mother Vey," said Elsie. Mother Vey did not answer. She crossed the room in 3 steps and took Elsie by the chin. Not roughly, but not gently either. She tilted the child's face to the light. She put 2 fingers against Elsie's throat. She listened at her chest. Elsie giggled. "It tickles." Mother Vey flinched.